So initially when we were trying to give expression or create a story to tell this, I give this idea to greater humanity, we started off by praising Indra and Varun and Vayu, and this became the Vedic scriptures. The early part of the Vedic scriptures are nothing but hymns devoted to the forces of nature in a personalized manner. So we were worshipping Varun and Indra and Vayu, and this is how we started. So the first part of the scriptures of authority of Hindus, the Vedas, contain nothing but, if like, hymns to the personified forces of nature. And then we said, okay, now suppose we do, how do we appease them, how do we get a control over these forces of nature that we need to kind of work with, like fire and sun and all that? Oh yes, let's do some kind of ceremonial. So a lot of ceremonials started to appear, saying this is how we appease. We build friendship with Indra or Vayu, we do certain ceremony, and we offer things to Indra, saying, Indra, we are giving you this, so please look after us. So we start doing commerce, business with the forces of nature. So we develop liturgy. Liturgy means rituals. This forms the second part of the Vedic scripture. The first part is the hymns. The second part of the Vedas are the liturgy, the rituals. But then you see the deeper ideas is still not revealed. This becomes revealed when we say it's not just the external that we need to relate to, but the inner thing that holds everything together, this thing called Brahma. Let's try and relate to that. And to give expression to that, we produce this marvelous idea called, which appears in the Vedas, is the Upanishads. The Upanishad says, come near us and we will demolish your delusion regarding what is the nature of reality, because you are caught up with the externals, the forces of wind and fire. These are just externals. Underneath all that is something far more different, and far more dynamic, that is underpinning to everything and everyone. And we are going to talk about that now, not the externals. We have done all this worshipping, this Indra and Vayu and Varun. That's the externals, that's outside. Let's go deeper. The deeper idea is to discover your essential nature is the spirit, Brahma. And your essential, the same idea, the essential nature of the universe is Brahman or Brahma. The essential nature of humanity is really, if you like, the same spark of the same Brahma, but we individualize it and we call it Atman or Atma. That is my essential nature, not as my external body and my mind, but as the spirit. This is what we discover. This is, if you like, the magical discovery of the Hindus. This gives it its authority. And this is very powerful material. Even modern humanity has not discovered this. They are still grappling with this idea. There is something special about us, special about the whole of this creation. It is not what it appears to be, something different underneath it. This is the idea of Brahma and Atma. So we started now to give expression to this or give narrative to this idea through the Upanishad. Upanishad literally means, come near me, I will destroy your delusion regarding the nature of reality. Because you think it's this material world and forces of nature. No, underneath is something dramatically different. We'll remove your delusion regarding the nature of reality by showing this to you, what is underpinning to everything. And this becomes the scripture of authority, the philosophic heart of the Hindus, Upanishad. Upa means come near, Shad means I will destroy your delusions regarding the nature of reality. These are the scriptures of philosophy and authority of the Hindus. So if you want the heart of Hinduism, you don't get caught up with the external, the hymns to the forces of nature. You don't get caught up with the liturgy saying you must do this ritual and this havan and that. This is external. Underpinning it is the Upanishad, the philosophic throbbing heart of the Hindus. So if you want to go to the heart of Hinduism, don't get caught up with the external. Go dig deeper and go to the Upanishads. That is why if you want to understand Hinduism, you must learn the Upanishads. It talks about the nature of reality as the spirit, as Brahma. Nature of individual as Atman, also a spark of the divine, spark of the spirit, individualized. So this is how you think about the Upanishads and the role of the Upanishads. Now there is something more. There are so many different Upanishads the Hindus have produced. There are about 108 Upanishads, and there are so many, and some of them are very short, literally 12 verses, and some are quite long, few hundred verses. And there are so many scattered different ones. The Hindus say we must somehow try and reconcile them. You see, always when you have too many, you need to be able to reconcile, means put them together in a joined up manner. That's called reconciling. And the Hindus have done that a marvelous job of reconciling the Upanishad through one text, very, very popular, that all Hindu homes must have. And that text is called the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a synthesis, means combining, reconciling the teachings of the Upanishads. The Upanishads are very dynamic, they just talk about Atman and Brahman. But then to reconcile the various ways of relating to the idea of Atman and Brahman, let us put it together in one text. And that text is the Bhagavad Gita, reconciliation of the Upanishads. So it's not scattered anymore, it has been tied together by this marvelous personality, Krishna, Sri Krishna. He reconciled the Upanishads and produced this marvelous book that is now considered to be the scripture of authority of Hindus. The Hindus won't have the Vedas in their homes, they won't have the Upanishads in their homes, but they will have the Bhagavad Gita, the heart of the heart, reconciled. That is why Bhagavad Gita holds a very important position. The scripture that most Hindus relate to, or will swear by, if I can use the word, is the Bhagavad Gita. So what is the role of Bhagavad Gita and where does it occur? The Bhagavad Gita occurs in the story of Mahabharata, which is a scripture of lower authority. It's an epic. It's still colorful storytelling. And yet, right at the heart of it sits this gem of, if you like, philosophic heart of Hinduism called the Bhagavad Gita. So even though it is in the Smriti scripture, it contains the teachings of the Upanishads, the Shrutis. That's why it straddles both the sides. Bhagavad Gita is a beautiful script. That's why most Hindus relate to they will have the Bhagavad Gita in their homes. So what is it and what is its role? You see, the Bhagavad Gita is, if you like, a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna on the battlefield of Mahabharata. Now, I personally, as I told you, always use your rational faculties when you come to terms with religion. When I look at there 700 verses, there is no way they could have had the dialogue of 700 verses in the middle of a battlefield. Because the rest of the armies will say, oh, they want to do philosophy, we go home. This couldn't have happened historically. And yet they have plugged it in there because it's a nice context in which to present the idea of the philosophy of Hinduism. That's why it's presented in the Mahabharata story. So now what is it all about? Here we see the uniqueness of the Bhagavad Gita. It allows religion to be translated into practice. It allows religious ideas to filter society and allow individuals and society to interact with the ideas of religion, if you like, in the battlefield of life itself. So it makes religions relevant for your daily life. That is why it's a very important script. Not pure theory, oh, I'm the spirit, I'm Atman. It doesn't talk like that. It allows you to relate to the idea of religion in your own daily life. It makes religion available in daily context. That is why it's an important script, very important. Now again, who compiled it? People say, well, it's a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, but Krishna must have said it. I personally suspect, look, my words are very guarded, that if a great philosopher has really pulled in the gems of the Upanishads and reconciled them in this marvelous text. Now you see the name that they give to the author is Vyas. Now Vyas actually simply is like a surname, but Vyas doesn't mean an individual who lived for 1,000 years or 3,000 years, because Vyas seems to compile everything. And he can't have lived so many thousands of years. The word Vyas simply means somebody who compiles, who collects together, who thinks hard about these things. So Vyas is a surname. So this is, the Bhagavad Gita comes out of Vyas, but basically what Vyas means is a compiler, without, if you like, an individual putting his name forward saying, I wrote it. We just kind of hide under the name of Vyas. Now what is the teaching of Bhagavad Gita? Very important. It is a text of exactly what I'm teaching you here at Eton. It talks of pluralism, saying that in order for us to resolve our human condition, we can adopt a variety of different pathways. This is the Bhagavad Gita. See, making religions relevant and suited to our daily lives. Suppose it says you are an active person, active in society, you don't need to be an ascetic and disciplined in the chaos. You're working in society, you're perhaps a family man. How can you translate religious ideas into your life? He said, look, live well, follow the aims of life, which is to, if you like, focusing on trying to resolve the human condition, dharma, create wealth. It doesn't say run away from wealth and hang on to poverty. It says create wealth, artha. It also says fulfill legitimate desires. It doesn't say bottle up your desires. It says make sure you harness them, otherwise it will create a muck in your life. So harnessing your desires. And then at the end it says resolve the human condition, moksha. What is it? Why am I feel very kind of shackled. I wish to break free from the limitation. These are the aims of the Bhagavad Gita, the four aims of Hindu life. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. And again he says that in order for you to fulfill this particular process, they allow you a variety of different pathways, plural pathways. So you can be a very kind of a simple person, ordinary person living ordinary life, and still fulfill this aspiration to recognize your spiritual dimension. So this is a pluralistic tradition. It encourages pluralism. It allows us to make spiritual progress using variety of different ways. The pathways that Krishna talks about is the path of Gnana. Just through pure, near intellect, you can see the world in its true colors, in its true form, Gnana. You can adopt the path of meditation, looking inward to resolve your human condition, path of Raj Yoga. You can resolve your human condition through devotion. Suppose you are kind of infatuated with a God in the heaven. Nothing wrong, says Bhagavad Gita, go for it. Through bhakti. He said, no, I am an active person. I just need to, how should I live my life? He says, yes, first of all, be active. Don't be a lazy lot. Secondly, act in a selfless manner. This is the whole heart of religion. When we act for our own personal interest, we are becoming mean and small and losing our spiritual status. When we start to live for others, extend the people we'll care for and look after, take on more and more people, that is karma marg. And that is again the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, not running away from life, but embracing life. So it allows a variety of different approaches in religion. It reconciles them at a deeper level. Even the idea of God as a personality, as a supreme personality, and as well as God as your inner natures, Atman. All these concepts are nicely intertwined, interwoven, and reconciled in the simple text called the Bhagavad Gita. But in fact, what I have been teaching is nothing but the Bhagavad Gita without the tops and the tails of the word Bhagavad Gita. This idea of pluralism is central in the Bhagavad Gita. The idea of spiritual humanism, recognizing our dignity, is also Bhagavad Gita. Reconciling them is also Bhagavad Gita. That is why it's a lovely text to keep in your hand. In fact, my mentor, Swami Vivekananda, look, he's an enlightened personality of very high caliber. One textbook he used to keep with him when he was traveling in America, UK and so on, was the Bhagavad Gita. And whenever he felt his batteries need to be recharged, he would pick up the book, sit in some corner, turn the pages. And this is a real story recorded. Every time he would read some of the verses, tears of joy would flow from his eyes and make his clothes wet as if he's been sitting in rain. That tremendous devotion to this marvelous text called the Bhagavad Gita. Who compiled it, whether it's got historic foundation, I have no clue, because it goes back into antiquity. But the material it possesses is, if you like a reconciliation of every good aspect of Hinduism in one small textbook. That is why Bhagavad Gita is part of the central text of the Hindus.